Gonna do three, two, one. Hey everybody, welcome back to the second episode of the True Voice Media podcast, the Social Echoes podcast. I'm John Steyert, I'm the host, and today I'm very excited because I have somebody in the mobile industry, and everybody knows that social media and the entire world of communications is headed towards mobile. So I think everybody's very excited about the aspects and the possibilities of that. And today we have Mr. Patrick Goodman, and he works for ReadyApp. Pat, how you doing today? Oh, absolutely. Thank you for joining me. So how's everything down in Louisville, Kentucky? Well, that's great. So, just knowing you a little bit, I know that we had got to kind of meet over your chat for Ready app called Mobile Chat. We'll talk a little bit about that later on in the podcast. But you're a very interesting and eclectic guy. You speak a couple different languages. Uh, you played arena football. Is that correct? That's cool because I play. It's funny you say playing football in a hockey rink because a lot of my friends and I we play really hardcore wiffle ball, and where we play is in just a converted hockey rink. It's not converted for us. We just have made it into our own Fenway Park. So it's a lot of fun playing like that. And I actually played. I played line in high school just for 1 year, and then I played hockey again. But I thought that was very interesting that you had played arena football. So, how did you get into the mobile space? Yeah, I remember when we had first made a connection, spoke on the phone, how excited you were over the different projects you've been working on, and just how excited you were by the prospects of just your day to day job. And that's one of the reasons why I've invited you here to speak with me. And just an aside, Jeff, the president of True Voice Media, and I had the pleasure of going to a Phillies game this summer with Jason Falls. We got to meet some of his family and Grant Falls, and that little kid he's funny. He's very sharp on his baseball, and I very much enjoyed him. Yep, absolutely. Exactly. I like that. I like that. So let's talk about selling on mobile. I know that you just kind of touched on you don't want to jump into the sale, and that's I totally agree with that, and that I think applies in every realm of sales. But what's the difference between someone buying on a tablet and then buying on a smartphone? Because just me personally, I know that I've purchased a couple different things via my iPad, but I don't think I've done the same thing on my smartphone. What do you think is going to take people? What's it going to take for people to go ahead and start purchasing via their smartphones? Yeah, and I think that Square is going to be, it's already the biggest player in the mobile payment space, certainly having the credentials of a guy like Jack Dorsey and the clout that he carries around. Um, the NFC is very interesting. And for those that aren't aware of what NFC is, it's near field communications, and it's going to be something where I think Samsung's already doing a very good job with their tech tiles and the way that they're placing them in different spots. Whether that's going to be something that's going to catch on as well as maybe even QR codes, I'm not sure about that. However, I think that certainly NFC and uh, radio frequency chips are going to be replacing QR codes in the near future. Um, Talk a little bit about getting kind of in the Samsung Apple space a little bit. We're speaking in the wake of the jury decision that came out over the weekend, and how do you see how do you see where the mobile space stands now as far as the hardware goes? Apple versus Samsung. Apple winning this huge victory over Samsung, wiping out some of the different products that Samsung is able to sell. Still, Samsung's still going to be able to have and carry the Galaxy S3, um, which is their flagship phone. But how do you see that going forward? How badly is Samsung hit? Yeah, only. Yeah, lots spinning around today on the internet about the battle between Google and Apple, of course. There's a lot of teenagers, and I'm the oldest of five, so I see everybody else younger than I am, especially my sister, who's a senior in high school, and she's forever on her phone, perhaps more so than I am. But in the same sense, I learned social networking via my phone. How are companies going to be able to combat and cope with this going forward with their new consumers and their new this new generation of buyers? Everybody's so adapt to mobile. How is ReadyApp in the whole? How is it trying to solve business issues? That's all right. We can. That's fine. We can edit that part. How is ReadyApp being able to address and solve some of the business issues that social media and social business presents via mobile? Yeah. I think that's great. I think that there's actually you kind of touched on it too, the big business aspect of it. For example, my mother called me up the other day and she said, "Listen, I need you to come over and take care of this thing with the dryer. Dryer's messed up." So I went over to the house, stayed there for a little while. Guy came over. He was a little bit late. He was not even there for 5 minutes. So already my day is disrupted by doing that. His day has been disrupted because he couldn't fix it. And what it ended up being was a computer issue within the dryer. So I started thinking, what's a better way to kind of address this issue? What if you were to ask your customer, if you're the server, if you're the service provider, you ask the customer that has having the issue to perhaps take a picture or a video of what's happening, if it's actually something that's in the display, which there was in this case. You're able to then send them the video. They're able to assess it right there. They can listen, they can view everything, and then they can make a decision from there. They can have contact with you again, tell you this is what the issue was, this is how we're going to address it. We're only going to have one service call, so you're only disrupted once instead of twice in our case. And customers happy, service providers happy because they've saved money. That I think is a great way for social business to kind of look at it from a service provider's perspective. Exactly. Yeah. Your company's Twitter chat, mobile chat. I'm curious as to what seems to be when you're conversing with people on Twitter. What seems to be one of their biggest questions about the things that are happening in the mobile space? It's incredible, isn't it? Yep. Couldn't couldn't agree more. And we're living in a very exciting and fast-paced time. So, Patrick, where can people find you on the web? Absolutely. Well, Patrick, it has been an absolute pleasure. This was a really fun interview. Thank you very much for joining me on Social Echoes. And we look forward to all the things that you do with mobile chat, Ready app, and wish you all the success in the world. Thank you very much for everybody listening. We'll see you next week on the next episode, episode 3 of Social Echoes. Until then, have a great day.